right now. All right, so here we go. We have a Q&A. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to get started tonight, and I am so excited, honored to be on this call. Love sharing with the Dream Team. I have such a huge heart for you guys and all that you have done and all that you do, and what a wonderful team we are a part of, right? So Melanie's away. She's on vacation, and she left me in charge. So I don't know if that's a dangerous thing or what, but I cannot be more excited. I am not more excited to share with you some of the marketing tips that I have used over the last year in my business, and I have seen a tremendous change in my personal growth as a coach, in my personal numbers, in my personal volume, because I've been implementing this marketing strategy. So tonight, my job is to share with you what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is also going to come with some moments that we have to do a real gut check. We also have to start thinking about the bigger picture of what we want for our businesses. And we need to really ask ourselves this question: am I ready to work? Am I really ready to work and do something that's a little bit new and a little bit uncomfortable? So those are the 3 areas of focus that I'm going to be talking about tonight. And again, I believe that bar is open, that chat bar is open, and the Q&A is open as well. So if you have questions, I might go sort of fast through this. I can come back to those questions as we progress. So let's get started, guys. All right. First of all, before we talk any type of strategy, we have to talk about our gut check. We have to talk about what's really happening in our businesses. Have you ever been at a point in your business where you have felt frustrated, where you have looked at other people and wondered how they have become or have gotten so far in their organizations? Have you ever looked at yourselves and thought, I just can't do what they're doing? Or have you ever thought to yourselves, man, it must be Facebook. This is too difficult. Nobody's seeing my posts. When that happens, I encourage all of you to take these moments where you really do a gut check and you really ask yourself, what is the bigger picture? What is actually happening? And the reason I'm talking about this now is because we have to get to the root of the problem before we talk about how to implement any marketing strategy. We have to know why we are where we are in our businesses before we can focus on what is actually going to work. So my first gut check question: am I problem or solution oriented? When you call your upline coach or you're on the phone with your success partner, are you focusing on the problem without coming up with strategies and solutions to make it work? Are you focusing on all the things that are going wrong instead of focusing on what's wrong, but how we can make it right? Are we focusing on the problems, or are we more concerned with what the solutions are? The second one: do I like big butts? Here's a gut check for you. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where you're trying to get through a resolution or trying to figure it out, but you always find yourself with that big but? So if somebody says to you, have you tried this? And you go, oh, I heard that works, but I don't think that's going to work for me. That's not really for my audience. Country heat isn't something that people around me will really like. And you insert the word but in a lot of places where it doesn't belong. You're actually making your excuses valid instead of coming up with a solution for it. When you find yourself at a point where you're looking at solutions and you're inserting the word but instead of, oh, that's a good idea, I might try that, you might need to give yourself a gut check. The third, and this is the one that really, really sank so deep for me this year. Do I still reside at Square One Drive? Listen, this business is so simple, right? Our job is to help people achieve healthy and fulfilling lives. But we can't do that if we aren't doing the basics. So what is Square One? Well, it's perfect. There are 4 areas that we focus on, just like the square. You have to focus on doing your personal development, inviting, being a product of the product, and most importantly, that recognition piece, recognition of our coaches and our challengers as well. My gut check came earlier this year when I started saying things like, my team is struggling with this. My team is maybe not doing the vitals. My team is not producing. My team, and I would say that to myself, and then I had to say, well, Katy, what are you doing? You are talking about the problem, but you are clearly a part of the solution. And part of that solution is that I don't leave square one. You never back away from square one, and square one are the vitals. No matter where you are in business, you are still inviting, you are still doing personal development, you are still focusing on being a product of the product and sharing your transformation story, your ongoing story, and also recognizing the successes of your challengers and your coaches. That is square one, and that is where we cannot leave. And that gut check came really, really, really true to me when I realized when I started implementing that marketing strategy, my job was not to tell people how to do it, but to show people how to do it. And that's exactly what I've been doing for the last about 8 months. All right, so lastly, am I an informational hoarder? And this is where I'm going to give you guys a call to action. I'm going to give you a lot of information tonight. I'm going to share with you exactly how I have really succeeded in my Success Club points throughout the last couple months and how I've produced a lot of volume in the last couple months. But my call to action is you can't just take this information and sit with it. You cannot be an informational hoarder. You have to do something with it. All right? Next one. Okay. So here we are. We're like, it's the end of the month. I can't hit Success Club. What's going on? I talk to my friends or my family and I'm struggling. What is the bigger problem? What is really happening? So before we go into that problem, we have to figure out what we actually want. Here's the truth. With Beachbody, you have to know in your mind what you want to be able to achieve, what success looks like to you, and that you have to be willing to go out and do the hard work. Because if you know in your mind exactly what you want to achieve, you are ready to adopt a plan. And here's the deal. You have to have a plan A mentality, especially with the strategy I'm going to share with you. It is about failing forward. It is about failure after failure after failure. It is about putting yourself out there and being rejected. It is about putting yourself out there and no one responding. It is about putting yourself out there once, again, and again, and again, because that's how it works. You cannot implement this without realizing that it's a failing forward kind of thing. And so adopting a plan A mentality means that you're not working towards plan B. You're not throwing something out there and saying, I hope this works, but if it doesn't, I have something else that I can turn to. A plan A mentality means you're going all in with it. You're going to tweak it as you go, and you're going to figure out a strategy that's going to work for you. Here's another question. I truly believe that your customers are going to be amazing referrals for you. But sometimes we can get so caught up, and I speak from experience, in hitting a number and hitting Success Club that we start to think to ourselves, am I treating my customers like the way that they deserve? Am I truly standing firm behind what I say I'm going to do? And here's a question for you. If your Success Club points actually didn't go through until a month after that person had been working with you, would you feel like you deserved those points? So if you've just earned 2 points or 10 points or 20 points this month, would at the end of this month, all of those people say, yep, great job, my coach rocked it, they really were there with me every step of the way? Remember that behind those people, behind those points are people. And we need to make sure that we are making sure that our customers are totally satisfied with us as their accountability partners, as their accountability through the challenge groups, that we understand their goals and we're invested long after the points actually go through. And then lastly, agree to this. I do not deserve to make an income unless I am making an impact. You guys, we have such a big job to do, and there are so many people that need our help. My cousin was actually in town. She's a coach of mine. Ange was in town, and we were at the zoo. And we were walking through the zoo, and we kind of got into this conversation, and I was saying, you know, I just look around, and I know that we have so much work to do as a company. Our mission is so important, and we are so needed, and we so need to help other people around us. But we can't sit back and watch other people just drive their businesses forward, focusing on helping people, if we truly are not interested in making an impact. We cannot think about the income unless we really are invested in making the impact on someone. All right? Okay, so caution, before I proceed with this marketing strategy that I have implemented, this is something that I want to share is not done overnight. It is not something that is done easily. It is not something that is going to be one of those things that you can throw together last minute. It is strategic, it is thought out, and it is done every single month. And here's the deal. Every month, you set a goal for yourself. You break down that goal monthly, then weekly, and then daily. And a couple weeks ago, I put out a post. I called it the Summit Gap. I put it on my wall, and I just talked about how we can get so consumed with how far other people are that really, if we took away the bigger goal and focused instead on the steps it takes to get there, we'll eventually get to the goal we've set for ourselves. And that's what I encourage each of you to do when you're thinking about Success Club, is that you set a goal for yourself, but you break it down. We break it down monthly, we break it down weekly, and we break it down daily. And the daily is always rooted in our vital behaviors. It is always going to be the basis of our business. It's always going to be our big focus. And every month you do what you say you're going to do. You focus on making sure that what you set out to do at the beginning of the month is what you do throughout the month. But also, these results are not guaranteed until you test it, you retest it, you fail at it, you flip it, you reverse it, okay? So we have got to go out there with this idea that I might not nail this the first time. It might not turn out so good, but I'm going to keep going with it. So I'm going to start, before I go into the strategy, I'm going to start by telling you that in January of this year, I was watching coaches around me earn a lot of Success Club points, and I was struggling. I have been a Success Club 10 earner for well over 2 years at this point, but there are months when I was hitting 10 at the bare bones, at the bare minimum. And I always knew that that was my non-negotiable. I always knew that that was what I needed to push for. So when I was in January and I was watching these people earn so many points, I kept thinking, what are they doing differently? And in a very side conversation I had with another coach, she started to share with me about how everything she does is through free groups. And I thought to myself, I haven't run a free group in 3 years. I don't need to do a free group. I don't want to do that. That seems like a waste of time to me. I don't have time to plan it out. I don't have time to check in daily. I don't have time. And so in my head, I was that but. I was that big but. Like, there are 1,000,010 reasons why these free groups are a waste of time. I was telling myself in my head why it wouldn't work. And then I decided that I didn't like where I was. I was not the leader that my team deserved, and I needed to step it up. Because I knew that if I could create a way of getting the Success Club that was working for me, and I implemented it in my team, and those people who implemented it could get results, we were going to grow. I mean, that's just how it was going to happen. It was just this idea of duplication. But I had to get rid of my big old butt. I had to get rid of thinking about all of the reasons why it wouldn't work. And I had to just say, Katy, you might fail at it. Your first free group might be a time suck. You might not be able to do what you want with it, but you've got to go with it. And so in a call that this coach hosted for my team in January, she went on to talk about exactly what she does in her free groups and how that in turn turns into challenge packs. You see, am I right in saying that people don't like to feel sold to? Am I right in saying that when you are throwing Beachbody on your timeline, people might be turned off by it? Am I right in assuming that if you come off on salesy, it's almost impossible to close a sale? Your free groups are an opportunity for you to become a walking billboard for what you do as a coach. You create groups for people to understand what you do. And so all the problems with, well, Facebook isn't showing me in the news feed anymore, that huge problem that people run into where they don't think they're being seen, it's gone when you run free groups, because now you're basically a walking commercial for what you do as a coach. But I'm going to caution you again that this is work, because truly you have to want those people to succeed whether they are going to purchase or not. You are invested in the person who is signing up for your free group, whether they purchase or not. It does not matter. So it is 100% people-based. You are focused on just helping people in general, okay? So let's talk about the marketing strategy. This is what I do every month, and I'm gonna make sure I don't have any chats up here. If you guys have questions or anything, just put them in the chat section. So this is what I do every month. Number one, I create an event for a free group. Number two, I invite to a challenge. Number three, I create a holding area. And number four, I go to work. At the beginning of every month, friends, I look at my calendar. And on the second Monday of every month, I run a free group. And on the second Monday of every month, that free group is 5 to 7 days. The theme changes, but the group itself never does. It is the same group. I simply change the banner or change the name. I change the title. But those people who are in that group continue to be in that group unless they remove themselves. So every month, they see me again. And every month, they are in the group. And every month, I am giving them more freemiums. But they too are in turn learning about what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to check my chat section, I think. Okay, let's see what I got. 5 to 7 days, Vivian. Yep. All right. Cool. Okay. Let me give you a look at what it looks like. Okay. So here's a glimpse into my free group. Yep, my event is different than my group. So first, I create an event. So an event is very much just a holding area. Like I consider it a holding area for people who want to know more. I run an ad for an event. I spend no more than $20 a month. And I usually, on average, bring 100 to 200 people into the free group each time that I do it. So within the free events, I am doing a couple of things. And all of this is on OneFit-Fighter. You can go onto OneFit-Fighter on my like page, and you can see exactly what I do in my free groups. So when I create this free event, I post in there and I give them very specific instructions on how they get into the group. And the instructions go something like this. Hey there, we're ready to start this party and I can't wait to work with you and I can't wait to do this buns and guns challenge or this free ab challenge. But in order to participate, I need you to do me a favor. Number one, I need you to like my page, One Fit Fighter. And number two, I need you to tag 5 friends. That's it. Once they do that, they're in the group. I don't ask them for their email. I don't ask them to set up a free account. I don't even ask them if they're a coach or they're not a coach. I truly believe that if coaches are working their own business, they're finding ways to invest in people too. I just tend to make sure that if they are working with a coach, or I know they're working with a coach, that they're working with that coach. I'm not very picky though. I mean, if they want a free group, that's all I'm doing in there. I'm running a free group for them. That is what I'm doing. And with all honesty, if I do have coaches in there, that's okay, because that means that they are doing a great job in a free group. I'm not advertising to them. I'm not selling to them. I'm not taking any of their customers or their challengers, because it's a free group. Again, it is a free group. So when I go into that free account or that free group, I have all the events set up, and then they go into the free group. So I give them the link, they get into the free group, and then the work begins. Every day, I set up 2 things. I set up a challenge of the day. So this is today's example. And I give them like 15 push-ups, 25 squats, 25 sumo squats, 20 leg lifts, right? And so when they're doing those, all of the people are commenting that they're doing their workout. So people are just doing their workout. They're commenting. And as the coach, I am in there like, you can do it. That's awesome. Great job. I'm giving them feedback, right? So I'm giving them an idea of what I do. I'm giving them an idea of how I work. I am giving them what I am like. But I am doing a couple other things in there. I'm doing some giveaways for them too, so that I can congratulate them on their hard work. I might give them some real talk in there to make sure that they are really maybe following their nutrition plan or whatnot. I am just making sure that my focus is on adding value. So every day in the morning, it's a workout, and I post the workout. And I too am a challenger like them too. My giveaways might be, I've given like the little Toscarino. It's like a diet, like the Diet Eat Clean book. And then I've given them like samples of Hydrate. I think I've given, I give a lot of shaker cups I've done before. And that is only open to people, that's usually when they sign up for a free account with me as their coach. But again, it's just, it kind of depends on what I'm doing as well. The giveaways are really simple though. They're nothing fancy. I'm trying to think, I've done notebooks, cute little notebooks, or actually I was at Kmart today, and they have these really cute food journals there. And so I picked up a few of those as well. So yeah, so in the morning I do a challenge, and they do their workout. In the afternoon, I usually do something that adds value. I give them a recipe, or I give them a real talk, or I announce a giveaway of some sort. But the event itself is just a way for me to get people into a group. And the group itself is a constant growing group. Now, I just want to tell you, if you guys are asking me to add you tonight, I won't, because you're coaches, and I really want to encourage you to run your own. But that's basically what I do. It's an event that I host, and I usually boost it for $20. And then from there, I put them into a group. So if you go on to One Fit Fighter, you will see exactly how I do it. All right. So then I will give some jabs in there. Do you post the event page? Yeah, I do, Vivian. That's a really good question. I do post to the event page every day before the group starts, because it's a constant reminder to people. And my friend was telling me that you can actually, you can send messages to people who are going to events. I must have a setting wrong on my phone though, because I can't find it. I don't use a challenge tracker app for this. No, I don't, because everything's done on Facebook. So let me see. Is it a free? It can be a free clean eating group. I have provided recipes. Yep. The one I'm doing right now, it's a buns and guns challenge. And then I was giving Southern recipes, comfort food recipes in the evening. Yeah. How far in advance do you create the event? 1 week before. Yep. So all last week I was posting in the event. And honestly, I just post in the event. I don't advertise for the event, because when you boost the post and you're telling people to tag their friends, you don't have to advertise for it because it's being done for you. And when you boost it, you are specifically, when I target, I exclude Beachbody coaches. So I mostly don't tend to attract people who are affiliated with Beachbody to the groups. How far in advance do you create the event? Yep, so 1 week in advance. So the event, it was all last week. I talked in the event. And then on Sunday night, I gave them the link to the group to join the group once they had done the requirements. And remember, the requirements were that they had to like my page and they had to tag 5 friends, and that's it. So then once they're in that event, then I just send them the link and then I put them in the group. And when they're in the group, that's when they do the challenge. So every day in the challenge, it's just very much like, I'm sure how many of you guys run your free groups. For this one, it was a morning. This is what you have to do in the morning. And then in the afternoon, it was a recipe. I give them real talk, and then I throw a couple giveaways in there. And I do this consistently, but I think what's really helped me is that I don't delete people from the group unless they want to delete. You just delete them. Yeah, I delete them. Yep. And then I change the banner too when you started a new type of group. Yep. So I create, yeah. So I delete all the old posts. Yep. You got it. So they're all in the event, right? And everybody's having a good time. Everybody's liking it. I know that says raise hand, but I don't know how that works. Use delete. Yep, you're welcome. I'm not sure what raise hand means. I'm sorry. Oh no. All right, so, and look at the transformation I put in here. Okay, so once they're in the group, so they are in the group, my next step is I am thinking about my challenge group. And while I am thinking about my challenge group, I am thinking about, okay, I want to see who is interested in working with me on a more one-on-one, who is interested in more accountability, who is interested in learning more about what a challenge group is. So I do a couple of things. So I tell them about what I do as a coach. I put these little jabs in there. I do a couple giveaways. So there's a few different ways that I do it. So number one, last time I put this amazing transformation of our dream team coach, and I shared that she didn't do this in 5 days. And I kind of made a joke about it, and I said, if you are loving this challenge, I have got to tell you about what I do as a coach. I have to tell you about what I do and how I help other people. And this is a coach in our organization, and look what she has been able to achieve with the products that we offer. And I went in to talk about hammer and chisel, and then I shared her story in there as well. And so that was one of the posts that I did. And then I did another post in there about, I remember one was about the Momfidence challenge that I did. And so I started talking about just in general the demands of being a mom and what it means to be confident when you're a mom, and how I have these challengers who are really, really excited in being able to work with one another and being in a group of women who are, you know, like them. And I talked about that as well. And then I asked for help too. In my last group, I did something a little different. This was the first time I did it, but I asked people if I could post about the Country Heat Premier Group invite on their wall. And so even if they weren't necessarily that interested, I actually gave them the option. I gave them an option A and an option B. If they wanted to, they could be entered to win a drawing as well. And then I also let them join what I call the holding area. And so a holding area is an opportunity for me to talk up a group or a product for people who have shown interest. It is VIP group for people who just want more information. So I look at it as though I have the opportunity to form with people in a group setting. But I want to be clear that it is very important that when you're doing any type of group like this, they understand that this is open to people who are not currently working with or enrolled as a coach. So I make sure that my WooFoo applications say that. I make sure that my holding areas say that. I make sure that my challenge groups say that. I make sure that my blog post says that. So people understand that this is only open to people who are not currently working with a coach or enrolled in a coach. It doesn't matter to me how, who comes into my free group, but when it comes to the people that we'll be investing time with, I want them to understand that it's only open to those who are not currently working with a coach or enrolled with a coach. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that part of it too. Let me make sure I'm caught up. So when you're inviting to a challenge group, you do this in an event. No, I do this all. I really invite to my challenge groups all in my free groups. And sometimes, like I ran an event for Country Heat, but for the most part, no. Is this just on your page? No, nothing is on my page. I don't really advertise too much on my page because I run events. I turn events into free groups. I turn free groups into holding areas. Are you advertising for your challenge group in the free group? Yep. And not every day. No, I don't do it every day. I don't advertise every day. I add value every day, and I talk about it once or twice. But you have to think too, Jenny, this is just a side note. If I'm bringing 100 new people into a group, I am making sure that the people who are active, I am engaged with them. I am talking to them. I am forming with them. I am just making sure that they understand that I'm invested in helping them achieve results, whether they're invested in me as a coach or they're just simply there for the 5 days. Because remember too, they're going to be in my group again the next time when I run it again the next time. So I want to make sure that even if they have no interest in a challenge group this time, they might be interested in a free group the next time, and then maybe the next time they will. So it's like a constant work on relationships. These groups are an opportunity for you to basically, I don't know how to say this the right way, but it's basically an opportunity for you to have like a room of potential clients as opposed to having them in Facebook land somewhere. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like this helps me stay organized in my mind because I know who's active and who's engaged, and I know who I can have these conversations with, and I know who I want to talk to. I don't know what you mean by that. Are you adding everyone from free group to free group? I only have one group. So Jenny, it's one group, and then I change the banner and I change the name of the group. I can talk about that. Yeah, I hope this is helpful. All right, so invite to the challenge. All right, so now I'm moving over to the holding area, right? So this is where it gets really fun. So you have a holding area, and guess what? In a holding area, people are already voicing to you that they're interested. They're voicing to you that they want to know more about what you're doing, right? So you create this holding area. You're like, all right. So here I am. It's 2 weeks before the launch, and I'm starting to create this holding area. Because remember, this was the second week in July. I ran the group, and then I started talking Country Heat. I started posting Country Heat. I started sharing Country Heat. So I had a holding area for Country Heat. The week that I started this free group, then I had my holding area. I knew Country Heat was launching at the end of the month, so I wanted everybody who was interested in this group. So I did run an event for this. So somebody asked me this. I did run an event for that. Hold on, it's okay. I'll get to you in 1 second. The holding area is not the free group. The holding area is for anyone who expressed interest in Country Heat. So the holding area is someone who has a specific interest in a challenge group you are running or a launch that you are doing. So when I am in that group, it hasn't been launched yet, and I am talking up this program. I am sharing videos. I was at Summit, and I was sharing videos in there. I was showing them that I was hanging out with Autumn Calabrese. I took them into the core and said, I'm going to do giveaways. What do you want me to buy? And then when I was in that holding area, I laid out all the Country Heat gear and said, I'm going to do a giveaway. Everybody who orders by August 5th because I wanted some Success Club points last month and some this month. I made sure that I was like, anyone who buys, I'm going to enter you in a drawing and you could win something, some swag, right? So they were excited. And then I talked it up like, man, I am going to take care of you. We are going to be ready. We are going to rock this together. So then I made sure with every freaking order, I said, thank you for your order. I can't wait to work with you. And I posted and I tagged who ordered. So other people were saying, oh, she ordered. I think it was Michaeline who gave me this idea. She ordered. Wow, she ordered. I should order. And I would say, you know what? I'm so excited to work with you. Here's the link for the group. And I kept posting that link to that group. So it kept showing up. And then the group was the, what am I trying to say? It was the Country Heat group. Make sense? It's a holding area is a totally different group. When I say a holding area, I mean it's a group. So I'll show you what it looks like on my page. And then today, just today, because we officially have started, I put in there, you know, it's totally cool. If you are not able to order, if you aren't quite ready because you're not quite there, don't you worry, because you know what I have for you? I have for you a free group. So then I would link them back to the free group. Does that make sense so far? So here's how it works. I'm going to kind of repeat it to you again. So first thing, you create an event. Talk about a free group that you're running. Then you create the event. You post in the event for an entire week. You're so excited for this free event. You can't wait to work your abs. You can't wait to work your butt. You can't wait to work your, I don't know, your legs, your belly, whatever. You post that. You have that event. And then you give them the link to the free group. When you're in the free group, you start talking about being a challenge, running challenge groups. You start talking about in your free group your customer transformations. You start talking about in there the giveaways. You talk about what you offer as a coach. And most importantly, you are so engaged in helping them and you do not care whether you're going to make a penny off of them or not. And that's key. That is super, super key, that you do not care if you are looking to make an income. All you want to do is make an impact. So if you just think of your free group as help everyone. You don't care who they are. You don't care if they're buying. You help every freaking person in that group. And so you have fun in there. You do a couple giveaways. You smile, you own it, and you have confidence because you know that over those 5 days, everybody in there who's doing the work is getting results. And then you give them what's called the holding area for people who are interested in learning more about your challenge groups. In this case, it was the Country Heat holding area. And everyone who was interested in Country Heat, I just shifted them over to the holding area. Remember, a holding area is just another group. So once they're in the holding area, I'm talking up Country Heat. I'm talking up the challenge groups. I'm giving them testimonials. I'm giving them just anything and everything they might have in regards to questions, because they're getting a feel for two things. They're getting a feel for what I'm like as a coach, and they are getting a feel for how I run my groups. And I am going to make sure that it is my job that every single person that ordered a challenge pack from me is getting help. Because if they are invested in me and they don't know me, I am going to prove to them that they are worth every penny they just spent on themselves. So that's what I do in the holding area. Then what I do lastly is I go to work, okay? So I'm not gonna lie to you, these free groups are work. They are not easy. They take time, and you have to devote the time to it. And you have to focus on helping. You don't focus on whether it's gonna make a sale or not. You don't focus on the couple free groups you run at the beginning and you don't have anyone join. You just keep going, okay? Once they are in that holding area and they've decided they're either going to A, order, or B, they're going to go back to the free group, I still have them as a potential, and I know that I'm going to follow up with them. So I'm going to go back and answer some of these questions that you have while you guys are reading that. Okay, so, all right. Do you keep the same holding area? I do, Kara. I'm very strategic about that. I do. I change the banner and I change the name. I keep the same holding area. Just change the banner, delete the post. You got it. And I'm learning now, every free group I've run, I have filed all my free group stuff. So that is all in an easy area for me to find. So next year, because I've now done this for 8 months, next year I'll run the same free groups again, and I'll just tweak them as necessary. For the ad boost, how many did you say? Oh, I did one. I do one event boost. That's it. And I pay, I think I spent 20 on the last one. Yeah, I don't usually spend more than like 20 on boosted events. Yep. Okay. If you already had them as a client, but have not done the thank you for joining, can you still do it though it's later? Angie, I think I'm confused about your question. If you already have them as a client, but have not done the thank you for joining, can you still do it even though it's later? I mean, I don't see why not. I don't know if maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but I don't see why you wouldn't. Where do you find your content? Oh, I make it all up, Denise. I create all of it. And that's what I said. It's work. I mean, it's not easy. I use Pinterest a lot for some of the ideas, Denise, but for the most part, no. I create the images. I create the recipes. But yeah, for the most part, it's me. Yeah. It is work. Does your holding area group stay the same? Yep. And I just changed the banner and the name too. Yep, you got it. Because I don't want to lose anyone, you know, just in the shuffle. And I've just found it easier. And honestly, if somebody doesn't want to be in there, they just delete themselves. Like they just delete themselves. Or if somebody got into a holding area, I'm so clear about the fact that this is only open to those not enrolled as a coach and those not currently working with a coach, that maybe if they went in there by accident, they tend to remove themselves. Is it always a specific product, or do you run multi-program too? No, Stephanie, this last one I just did for Country Heat was not, but my cup team and we are running one for Beachbody On Demand next month. So actually next week, we have one coming up for On Demand. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I do, Shay. I start my challenge group the next Monday after the free group ends. Yes, I do. Okay. So last month I did not, because I had the extra week. Yes. So in most cases, I'm not this month. I'm not even doing a holding area for demand because I already have it filled. So in most cases, yes, I would, Shay, but because it's cup month and I'm getting an extra challenge group in, I did not do one. Yes, but in most cases, you would have your holding area the next week. You've got it. You've got it. Do you have to be friends with them? No, no. Unless that has something to do with your settings, Andrea. Okay, so the event is run through my like page, One Fit Fighter, and it is run through my like page, One Fit Fighter, but you can co-host it as Katy Ursta. So that's how I do it. And if you guys aren't using a like page, well, make sure when you're running an event that it's public. It's in the upper left-hand corner. You need to make sure that it's public, because if not, no one can even see it. I'm sorry, what is the main difference between your event option and the group option on Facebook? So Jenny, it's okay. I definitely think this is something that will probably be talked about in your Coach Basics, but an event is an option that you can run through either your personal page. It's just an event. A group, though, is a specific group for a group of people. It's closed. And the holding area is a group, yes. Do you tell them you are adding them to the holding area? Oh, no, they click to join if they want to join. So I call the holding area actually like the Country Heat informational group, I think is what I called it. It depends. Like for those who might be going into a challenge group, like what's your challenge group called? It might be just called the VIP, I don't know, the informational section. You can be creative about it. For free groups, do you give meal plans or just post recipes? I actually have in there in the files section now. It's grown. I do give meal plans. I don't have a problem with that. And I post some good recipes too. And I do drive a lot of traffic back to my blog too, because I give them a lot of recipes there. Yeah. Okay, no, you got it. Thank you. Is your holding area a separate group or a separate event? It's a separate group. So I had a free group member end up buying a challenge book. Woohoo! So would I have ended up moving her? No, I don't move anyone out of the free group. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of my challengers, they love the free groups because I still enter them in giveaways. And yeah. No, don't remove her. Keep her in there because if she's an active member, I mean, she's gonna be like excited to be in the free group. She'll take selfies and do all that fun stuff. I don't remove anyone really unless they do it. Require a challenge pack always. For free groups, no, I don't even require that they sign up for an account because I'm just giving them free stuff. Do you require a challenge pack always for my groups? Here's the deal. When I started, no, I didn't. But now for the most part, yes, I do, because I look at it like this. I know my products work. I believe in Shakeology. I believe in the programs that we sell. So for me, I always think to myself, I don't know how to help people who aren't invested. Like I know how to maximize somebody's results whenever they're invested fully in the challenge pack. Are there some circumstances? Yeah, of course there are some, but for the most part, no. So it just kind of depends on the person. Okay, cool. Okay, so do I have more? Is that it? Okay, I think I got them all. All right. So I know that was a lot of information, but these are the biggest takeaways that I can give you. Advertise for your event, set a budget. A little goes a long way for this type of group. Run the free group monthly, and that's the key. You can't run a free group once and never run them again. And the other thing is too, guys, it's a consistency piece. My first free group, I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know how I was doing it. I think my mom was in there, my sister was in there, and I really didn't get it. But I can tell you at this point that when you are sitting there and maybe going back to what I was saying at the beginning of this call, if you are somebody who has been frustrated with Facebook, or you're saying people aren't seeing what I have to offer, you have to be willing to think outside the box. You have to be willing to do things a little bit differently. And being 100% honest, you've got to do a little bit more work, because the free groups are work. And they are an investment in your time, and $20 if you're going to boost the event. But I can tell you that this has been very much worth it. All right. Okay, so when 5 to 7 and you don't, yep, correct. And I let them know. I'll say, we'll be back next month. Do you guys, and I'll do a poll, like, what do you guys want to work on next month? And they'll answer and they'll pick it for me. When you taught me about the free group and holding it on a call a few months ago, it changed my business. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, cool. All right, so I think that is all I have for you. Just 100% honest, please don't request to be in my free groups just because you can run your own, I promise. I can give you some of the content for it, but it's really hard for me to sort through who's a coach and who's not a coach. So as much as I would love to let everybody into the group, I just encourage you to kind of take this, make it your own, and go from there. Yeah, I feel rushed all the time. I do. Yeah, I do. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Is there anything else you need me to go over? Okay, cool. Let me make sure I have it. Nope. Yep, create the event for the free group, run the free group, invite to the challenge group, create a holding area, and then go to work. That's all. Cool. Anyone else? All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Hope you have a great night. Yeah, if I've started talking to them, Michelle, I do. You're welcome. But for the most part, a lot of the conversations, because it's a pretty engaged group, they're very public. Yeah. Cool. All right. You guys have anything else? Yeah, I do, Michelle. Yes. Okay. Glad. Cool. Hi, Brian. Margie, did you have a quick question? Are you typing? Oh, there you go. Can you talk about, that is a call for like a totally different day and time. No, I just really go by the things that I like and the things that pre-Beachbody Katy would have been interested in. So I think you have to play around with it. It is a big in-depth call, but to be honest with you, my targets for events are really very, very simple. They're just about people who are interested in working out. Have you done that specific work in the past? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, have I run ads in the past? Work meaning determining your audience. Yeah, I did. I have done some work with it. I've spent a lot of time learning about like page trainings for sure. And again, that's a big piece of it too, is really investing time in your trainings as well. Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. I think I got all your questions. I hope that helps. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.